Criticism and insulting comments can crush you and throw you off balance instantly. But don't punch your critics in the face. Hear me out. In this video, I will explain how to graciously respond to sharp criticism and disparaging comments so you don't get thrown off balance. You can bounce back like a winner. A particularly important skill to master for any leader and anyone really. Are you ready? Let's get started. Some people are skilled at casting black magic on others. They will pass negative comments and condescending remarks I call black magic. Guys, I am not talking about a pinprick. I am talking about words that pierce your heart. They hurt deeply. You feel agitated, humiliated, and worthless. Truth of the matter is, people will criticize us. They will find a reason to condemn us. I have been criticized many times. I have developed thick skin now. When critics show up at my doorstep like an uninvited guest, I think of 3 gifts they bring to me. Number 1, their critical remarks are a sign that I may be doing something worthwhile. Otherwise, they will not go out of their way to be nasty to me. So, I must be doing good. Number 2, they may have a valid point. They may help me understand another viewpoint or make me aware of a blind spot so I can avoid a mistake. Number 3, they give me an opportunity to handle a difficult situation, a chance to toughen up and build resilience. You know, when I was a trainee in the US, I worked with an attending, a pathologist, who was very judgmental and very critical of my work. Sadly, he passed away during COVID time. I developed great respect for him because he was a phenomenal teacher. He challenged me and I learned a lot with him. Handling criticism can be challenging, but you get better with every blow of the wrecking ball if you practice. Here I will share some tips that work for me. Please let me know what works for you. So here we go. First and foremost, listen to your critics. Yes, it is tough to listen to disparaging remarks and rebukes. Remind yourself of the 3 gifts I just talked about, so you may be more open to listening. Even if you don't agree with them, it is important to listen. Try to understand their perspective. Do not take their comments personally. Remember that their criticism is not a reflection of your worth as a person. Nothing others say or do is because of you. Whatever others say or do is because of their own reality. That is the second agreement of my favorite book, The 4 Agreements. Whatever others say or do is because of their own reality. People live in their own world. Their world may be completely different from the one you live in. This knowledge can save you from a lot of misery in life. Next tip is to walk away if you're overcome by strong emotions. You know, you may respond later when you have better control on your emotions. But if you're up to the challenge, your emotions are under control, you can ask this question instead of trying to frame your response to the insult. You may ask, "What do you mean by this? Please help me understand. What do you mean?" Be genuinely curious. You know, a while back when I was in England, I was invited to speak at an annual meeting of a prestigious organization where many well-respected physicians were gathered. I decided to seek help from a colleague, Barry, while preparing for the talk. Barry was somewhat senior to me. Barry corrected my pronunciation several times during our practice run. The issue was my Indian accent. It was tough to follow his lead because my accent was deeply rooted. That's how I grew up. Barry was very frustrated with me because I was not making any progress. Finally, he said it. Poonam, you have poor command of English. I suggest you decline the invitation, otherwise you will make a fool of yourself. His words tore me apart. My confidence plummeted. This was 2 days before the event. I wanted to make an excuse to get out of it. I felt like an imposter. What if people found out how bad I was? Then I took charge of the situation. I got out of the defeated mindset. I made a decision to show up and be myself. At the event, I walked to the podium with my head held high and spoke with enthusiasm. Few days later, I asked Barry, Barry, you said I have poor command of English. Please help me understand, what did you really mean? Guys, I was not being vindictive or obnoxious. I was just being curious. Eventually, Barry admitted to being harsh. I have managed some tough situations by just being curious. What do you really mean? Help me understand. It is such a powerful statement because it will force your critic to reflect and elaborate on their comments. Just like Barry, they will fumble and try to retract their statement. Anyway, let's move on. Sharp criticism triggers a strong emotional reaction. Take a deep breath and collect your thoughts. Responding impulsively can lead to saying things you might later regret. There is a famous quote by Viktor Frankl. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Guys, avoid a knee-jerk reaction. Increase the space between stimulus and response. Use this space to frame your response. Or do not respond but remain silent. Put on a poker face. Often my students ask me, Dr. Sharma, what should I say when someone is being a jerk? I tell them what I'm telling you. Create silence. Not easy, but you will get better with practice. Use I statements to express how you feel, but avoid getting defensive or aggressive. For example, after a brief silence, you can say, I feel violated, insulted, demeaned, and so on. Talk about the impact of their words on you. It does not matter what our intention is. What matters is how our words impact people. So talk about the impact. Next, learn from the criticism. Even if the criticism is not valid, there might be some wisdom that you can take away. Many years ago, a very well respected leader slammed me for not having enough know-how in finance and accounting. Later, I took a 3-month course in finance. The course not only helped me become a better administrator, but also empowered me to take charge of my own personal finances. So let me close with an important last point. Move on. Once you have listened and responded calmly and professionally, it is time to move on. Do mental house cleaning. Why would you keep garbage in your mind? Wipe off the black magic. Move on. Guys, view criticism as a gift. Toughen up to become unstoppable. Those who criticize you have nothing against you. They would do better if they knew better. And in the same vein, never condemn or criticize anyone. Please watch my earlier video, Don't Condemn or Criticize. The link is in the description below. Let me ask you, what is the worst you have heard and how did you handle it? Please Share your stories in the comment area below this video. Guys, what others say or do to you is not under your control, but how you respond to them is fully under your control. The ability to control your response is your power. Don't give away your power. Like an eagle, rise to a higher level. Take charge and be victorious.